Okay, hi, welcome back to the channel where I want to take this opportunity to talk about the LS tractor XR3135 rebuild. I know that there are some videos online with this particular make of tractor highlighting some issues with the steering and maybe even the hydraulic system on this tractor. And in this video, what I want to do is just acknowledge the fact that when I first installed the hydraulic pumps on the tractor and the oil input lines or supply lines, I got the sequence wrong, and I'll show you what I mean by that. On the hydraulic pump, there's a banjo, or there's a nut like this, and then there are these two copper crush washers, and I didn't realize this, but when I first installed it, I put the two crush washers stacked one on top of each other and then threaded the nut right down into the hydraulic pump. It turns out that that is not the correct sequence. So instead, what you should be doing is putting one copper washer directly under the head of the bolt, putting it, and then lowering that down, and then having another crush washer between the inlet and the pump. So something like this. We're going to show you this on the tractor, and I'm going to do the correction on the tractor just because if you don't install this correctly, you may see the following things that I observed when I started the tractor and I tried to use it. So let's go over to the tractor and I'll explain. So here we are on the right hand side of the tractor. Here's the power steering pump, and here's the hydraulic pump. So I've already removed the three 10mm bolts that hold this supply pipe down onto the power steering pump. This nut, is located right in here. How this has to be installed is one crush washer goes below the nut like this, and then that slides down in there like that. You need another crush washer to sit in a groove underneath here and on top of the hydraulic pump. Okay? That's how this should be installed with respect to the oil supply to the hydraulic pump. Now, in my earlier video, I didn't make it obvious that there's also an O-ring. You need to make sure that there's an O-ring in place underneath here. So maybe what I'll do is I'm gonna take the camera and I'm gonna show you. So this is a view from underneath the supply pipe to the power steering pump. So make sure when you install your pipe again, or you work on this system, you make sure that you have an O-ring. See this O-ring right here that I'm pointing at? Make sure this O-ring is in place. That O-ring has to be in place in order to make sure that you have a good seal between this block and the power steering pump. So as you can see, I'm just putting this banjo nut in place. So I'm going to put it in hand tight, and I'll do that. I'll do that, and then I'll install my three 10mm bolts up here up front. Okay. I know that the alignment is good because I can get these 3 bolts in place just by hand. They're threading in without any interference, so that sort of tells me that the alignment is correct. So I'm just going to get my 1/4" drive with a 10mm socket. Okay, so we'll tighten these in. Remember, they're threaded into aluminum, and they're you know, fine threads, so just be careful, don't strip it. Okay, so I'm satisfied with that. I need to make sure that this nut is tight. Okay, so now I'm going to use a 36mm wrench. It's quite the tool. I'm going to use this end, and what I want to do is get this nut on here pretty tight. Okay, I'm just going to give this put some reasonable torque on here. So just like that. What you want to do is you want to put this on with sufficient torque so that those crush washers sort of get squished, and they make a good seal in between between the components. Okay, so that's tight. These 3 bolts are tight. I'm going to go back in, use my what is this? Use my my impact, and I'm going to go in and tighten up the radiator clamp underneath. Like I said, I loosened this so that I could rotate and move this pipe in and out so that we could work on top. So I'm just going to come back in here and tighten it up again. Make sure I'm in the proper location. Right there. And then tighten it up. That's good. Just like that. That one's tight, and that's tight. Okay, so I think that's going to be the end of this video. I just want to say thank you for everyone who subscribed and who are leaving comments and who are giving us thumbs up. That really means a lot. We're going to sign off, and we'll see you next time.